Another question, Jared. As far as Kali is concerned, it does face some criticism that a lot of this stuff is unrealistic. Can you help us maybe break down the difference between the art and you know the practical? And tell us about your personal experience with training people in the practical.
Yeah. So you know, I think a lot of it comes from what people see in whether it's online or in movies. What captures people's attention is usually the more artsy part of the art. And so people see that and start to make assumptions based on what is popular visually. But in reality, there's a lot of direct, hard and very functional application to the art. It's just a matter of seeing past the surface, you know, and actually getting past the visually pleasing stuff into the actual functional part of the art, which is there. Now, I'll caveat that with, you know, you've got instructors that know how to teach the application, and you got instructors that more focus on more of the martial arts and crafts part of that, which is, and so, you know, I don't find fault in that, because some people train the art because they just enjoy it. You know, that's fine. Enjoy it. It's fun, and learn some functional skills while you're at it. And some instructors will cater to that more, whereas other instructors will know how to apply it based on whatever their background is, or other arts that they've cross-trained in, and so they know how to teach it at a more functional level. Instructor to instructor, it'll change, and focus on different arts too within the Filipino martial arts. My experience, you know, before I was even a police officer, going back into the 90s, I trained a lot of martial arts. I was training heavily back then in Kali, Muay Thai, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I worked as I was in university, I worked as a doorman in Hawaii, and got into a lot of situations, many situations on a weekly basis, where I was putting stuff into practice that I was training in the gym. And I went going through this learning process, and I found Kali to be very functional. I found that I actually used, in that environment, it was safer to use, it was very applicable because it has the dimensions. It's got the weapons, counter weapons, it's got the empty hand, it's got the controls and takedowns and submission type stuff. So as I went into law enforcement 16 years ago, that carried through, and I started finding that it applied well in that environment. And again, it's been something that I found in my career has been very functional because of those multi facets of the art.
I think you're also in a unique position where you've found relevance from Kali into gunfights and you know.
Absolutely. So you've got movement, you know, shoot, move, and communicate. Kali is all about movement, footwork, and mobility. The further you get out from your opponent, the more that mobility starts to become more applicable. But even even grapplers, you know, they seek position often before the submission, and if you can control position, you can often dictate and control that fight. It's the same thing in you get further out, the longer the weapon, then that mobility starts to take more shape, and then to gunfighting, mobility is extremely important. You know, moving to cover, moving off the X, getting to concealment. So you've got all these, becoming a moving target. You know, all of that has to be. People talk about it often in firearms training, but they don't actually often get out and do it on the range. Get off the flat range and start working in 360 environments, or as safe as you can, 90-degree environments or whatnot. So. I found that Kali, the philosophies bleed over really well into close quarter gunfighting.
Perfect. Right on. Jared, we'll let you be. Continue what you're doing. Thank you very much for your time.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.